Oh, we're good? Hey, this is Mark Cunningham, and welcome to another episode of Decaf. I am with our EVP, Stephanie Witt. Do you like VP or EVP better?
Doesn't really matter.
Okay, well, EVP sounds more impressive, so we'll go with that.
Perfect, thank you.
So, Taylor's not here, so she did it with Justin, so me and Stephanie are going to try to combat them. We should have a vote who's better. I think that people would pick us.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I know. People would probably pick us.
We're way funnier.
Yeah, that's, at least than Justin. Look, that's a compliment. Taylor's not happy in the background. Okay, so for today, I guess we can start, and our new intern, Jana, came up with some of the questions and topics for today. So Jana's over there. You can't see her, but she'll be ringing the bell. So welcome. Okay, we're ready to go. First issue, climate change. The Democrats are doing a 2-hour long, just not even a debate, just like they're giving random presidential candidates like an hour to talk about climate change. And they're going to broadcast it all on TV. First of all, who is watching 15 hours of the same climate change proposals?
Wait, they each get like
45 minutes. They're giving them each, so it's like the lowest.
So it'll be the same.
It's gonna be like John. It's gonna be like John Delaney. All the people who aren't polling well. I think that Bernie Sanders is the only one who's like actually has a shot of winning. Who's doing it? But like they are gonna give them each 45 minutes to an hour, and it's gonna be a 2-day long thing, all broadcast. I want to know, and I don't even care about the climate change thing, anything like that. Who is watching that?
No one. No,
it's like if we talked about the Utah Jazz, like you have the same things over and over again from different people. I just don't understand who would spend their time saying, and even if I get it, people care about climate change, people have maybe different opinions on us about how it's done, but I don't have an issue with that, but who would ever watch that?
I don't so much have an issue with the topic. I have an issue with the fact that everybody gets 45 minutes and there's like 20 of them running.
Can you imagine Marianne Williamson 45 minutes talking about climate change?
Well, yeah, and you know that it's a campaign. They've all polled the messaging. They know what talking points work and what doesn't on this issue, and so of course it's going to be probably a lot of the same stuff over and over again.
Do you think they'll actually come up with solutions? Because I mean, that what they seem to do is they seem to poll, take like the most popular random proposals and put them together in a thing that doesn't necessarily make sense.
Well, I mean, I think look at the Green New Deal.
Yep.
That's kind of out there. So, I mean, I don't know that they're going to come up with a solution, but I think it's going to be generally like what messages well on their polling that they've done.
That's it. And even the Green New Deal, it's like, oh, jobs guarantees. Like, well, I don't understand how that's related to carbon emissions or whatever. And but they just put all these other random things in. Like, if you look at Kamala Harris's Medicaid for All plan, she kind of does a combination of 6 different things that all poll well into something that literally makes no sense.
Well, yeah. And if you look at, a lot of the ideas sound really good, but how do you fund them and how do you come up with a sustainable solution that actually works?
Yeah, because if they said, would you like every person in Tennessee to get health care? You would answer, of course, yes.
Yeah.
But then we say, oh, specifically, if we do this, is this the best way to do that?
Right.
Because we still both believe that everyone should have health care in Tennessee, or maybe not even health care, but health coverage of some sort, but we just don't think that's the way to do it.
But I think we disagree on the way to get there.
We definitely disagree.
Government funded versus private sector, and how do you make that all work together? And I think we all agree the solution is that yes, we would love for everybody to have health care, but getting there is 2 different things, and how it's paid for is a whole nother story.
Well, I'm really interested to see what the ratings are for the climate change thing. It's probably the most.
We may be wrong. This could be a big hit.
I think it's just they're appealing to their base, right? And that's a big thing. And you even said you came up with some number earlier that only very small percentage of.
I had heard. I don't know if it's on.
Oh no, you can't talk. No number. You wouldn't get to hear you talk.
You'll have to find out next time.
Okay, so the next thing is, so the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, she was just elected. She's kind of ran on this anti-corruption. She's definitely a liberal Democrat, but she ran on anti-corruption
Say Chicago?
Chicago,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
But she was clearly the better candidate. And at least she's I don't want all this corrupt practices to continue. So she.
A good start for Chicago.
I know, that's great. That's the first time anybody said that, I think, in Chicago. But one of the cool things is she said, I saw her talking about their debt problem. She's like, look, we can't keep taxing the hell out of people who make a lot of money. It's 1, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And 2, it's unethical. It's you can tax them, but when you talk about taxing them 70, 80%, it doesn't make sense because they had the option of leaving.
Right.
They act like they were forced to stay, it's a prison.
They're not prisoners.
Well, in Chicago, it's closed. But it's an interesting thing from somebody who's a very liberal Democrat. And I think that we're seeing something along those lines in Nashville where they're saying, you know what, our economy is going well, but we are in debt. Like, we have to figure out a way to make this work. And that's why when we did exit polling, 24% of people said their biggest issue was the budget and taxes being too high.
Wasn't that the highest polled?
Yeah, highest polled issue. Exactly.
Issue?
Yeah. So do you feel like that's maybe a trend in some of these cities that are kind of cool cities? I mean, people like Chicago, people like Nashville, but they're fiscally mismanaged. Do you think that's something that even people on the left are starting to say, you know what, like, yeah, we believe in some of these things, but we don't need to tax, we don't want an 80% tax on the rich or whatever?
Yeah, I think when it comes to things like corporate welfare, the public is getting way more educated on what what is a bad deal, when you see the Amazon stuff coming through and how much money we're giving out for somebody to move to our city, and then it's kind of played against another city to see who can one-up each other. But I think
who can steal more from taxpayers, yeah.
Politicians are starting to realize that it's becoming a bigger issue for the public, and as that gets driven, they're going to make different decisions about their policies. But she's right. I mean, Chicago, there's several articles written about how people are sort of fleeing the city and the state to come to a more tax-friendly states to start their businesses, expand their businesses, hire employees.
And Tennessee's one of them,
and
right?
Tennessee's one of them. We're an immigration state, and so I think we have to be really careful that we don't turn into one of these cities as we grow, and that we grow responsibly. And I think that's why we're seeing in the exit polling that people are starting to say, okay, yeah, it was great. We've had this economic boom. We've grown a lot in Nashville. But now it's time to actually look at our budget, make sure we're funding the basics, fire, police, schools, and then go from there.
And don't you think that there's also something to that nationally? Like when you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez say, no, let's tax the rich at whatever, I don't know what our number, 70, 80%. It's like, yeah, you realize they can also go to another country. I mean, Canada's close to us, and but it's going to be a lot cheaper there. They can go to, maybe not Hong Kong right now. They might not want to go to, but they have so many other choices that they don't have to stay here. They act like we're this prison that you have to be here and we can tax you whatever we want because you have to pay it. They can leave.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, that's me off my soapbox.
Well, I have one other point. Just real quick.
Oh God, you're breaking the rules. Hurry up. Go. You have 2 seconds.
Well, I think. Oh, never mind. Go ahead. Next time.
I'm glad that's 10 seconds. I'm never going to get back in my life. Okay. So it's going to be more of a fun topic. My favorite actor of all time, not even close, is Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
One of these.
That's a strong opinion.
Oh, he's great. He's great in everything. Name something he's bad in. Nope. I knew it.
Well, you didn't give me much time, but I can't think of.
But he's a serious actor. He did all those great.
He's funny,
and then he's super good in those romantic comedies, like Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, Failure to Launch, all those movies.
Yeah.
And then he did that HBO series. He was super good in.
Yeah.
What was that series called? Okay. Well, it was good. Oh, True Detective.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was good.
I know he was fantastic. Him and Woody Harrelson. So. The most important, Matthew McConaughey is going to be teaching a class at the University of Texas, which I guess is the real UT to most people, except in this state, but whatever. So the University of Texas, he's going to be teaching a film class.
What's the class like?
I think it's just like TV history and film history.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's going to be like a million person waiting list to get into that class.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if you went to UT, you'd be like, yeah, of course I want to go to that class. Yeah. So that made me think. I'm interested if somebody had to teach. You're back in college, and any celebrity is teaching a class. What would be the celebrity you would most want to take their class? And it could be, and what about? So think about like your favorite celebrities and somebody you'd be like, oh, that would be so cool to take a class. And like coaches did, like Bobby Knight, the famous basketball coach, taught a coach in Indiana. Mike Leach. So some football coaches do that. But who's your person?
You're probably not going to like my answer.
I definitely won't.
But I think it would be Taylor Swift's songwriting class.
Okay.
How to write a song. Because even people that don't really like her music will agree that she is a super talented songwriter.
I think it's actually a good choice. I was like, I thought he was going to be way dumber when you said that.
Because she's kind of figured it out, right?
She has really figured it out.
So,
and even if you don't like her personally, or you're like, don't like, she is, all her songs are catchy and they tell a story.
Yeah, they
which
tell
is
a story,
the reason
and they're real, like human stories. So.
Now, you like country music, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the benefit of country music. Maybe not as much anymore, but like they used to, like they tell a story, and that's what Taylor Swift has kind of tapped into, this idea that like people want to hear from start to finish a story.
And moved it to pop, which is kind of interesting.
And she's a genius. I would like to take a marketing class by her.
Yeah, and a marketing class.
She has been, I've never seen somebody market themselves like she has.
She has definitely done a really good job at that.
And like all these seemingly bad things that have happened with like she fights with people, or I don't understand, but she puts it in her videos and like alludes to different things. Like she knows how to market those like, I don't even know what they're called, but like I guess frenemies, is that I know she had Katy Perry in that one video, and like apparently they hated each other before.
They're friends now.
I know, so like, but she's great at that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's actually a really good choice for
I
somebody.
think she's a very smart businesswoman.
I think she's just super intelligent all the way around. And
Yeah.
I might not completely agree with her politics, but you could still understand how good she is at that.
Yeah.
Secondarily, I'm going to a conference in Los Angeles this week, and Shaq is going to be speaking.
Oh, really?
I'm really excited to hear
That is
because
exciting.
Shaq like has his own like brand too.
Yeah.
Like he has this idea of like he's this funny, he's this great athlete, but he's this funny, and he's now a doctor. So Dr. Shaq. I don't know if he goes, but probably Dr. O'Neill would be how
Where did
he
he get
goes.
his doctorate in?
It's a great question. Something.
You
and,
should ask
he's a
him.
police officer. I will. Okay, that's it. And then the last topic, I think this one is super interesting. So, me and my dad went to the Louisville Notre Dame game. We went to a couple college football games this past weekend in Vanderbilt,
Fun.
Georgia. Yeah. But one of the topics we had in this conversation was something he texted with his friends, which I thought was interesting. And they said, well, they had this idea of like, name a band or a singer that you just don't get. So there's this idea of like, oh, I don't like this band, but I get their talent. Like, I think John Mayer's one for me. It's like, I'm not into him, but I understand he's really good at these things. But like, the concept there is like, name somebody you just don't get at all. It's like, you don't understand why they're popular. My dad named Madonna as a person. He just doesn't think she's catchy or good in any way. But so let's have this conversation. I think it's interesting, and we'll start with you. So name a band or artist that is popular for whatever reason, and you just don't understand it.
Okay. This is tough because I like a lot of really bad music too.
Same. No, I'm with you on that.
But U2.
Oh, okay.
I've never
U2.
understood the appeal of U2. I've never liked any of their songs, and I'm sorry if
There's a lot of U2.
There's a lot
That's
of
actually a
U2
good
fans.
one, 'cause a
Probably
lot of
gonna get
people-
some hate mail, but
From Ireland, maybe. Who knows?
But yeah, I've just never understood it.
So the thing about U2 is like their old music, I feel like I'm with you, but remember they had that kind of like resurgence in like the early 2000s? They did like
Yes,
Beautiful
yes.
Day, and they had like a bunch of songs from Elevation.
Yes.
I kind of like those, but I'm with you with
Not
their old
into
stuff.
it.
Oh, you don't like any of it? Okay.
Yeah, like people get there's a U2 concert and people get excited and they're sold out and
They have people that follow them around the world
Yeah, I
because
know.
they tour internationally.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's actually a good choice. I thought you were going to say something. I'm with
No.
you 80% of the time
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Not
I
into
think
it.
I don't. I
got
think
into it and don't get it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you mostly. I think the Beatles, I don't get. I know that's really controversial. I don't understand.
Yeah, but that's one that I think that you could say like I understand
No,
why people like
I don't think I do. That's the point. Like,
because it's kind of iconic. It was kind of the first. of its
iconic is not
kind.
the idea. Okay, fine. Like they were a boy band, but like weren't
Yeah.
the Monkeys before them, or am I missing? I don't know my
It
genres.
was like the same time.
Okay, well either way, like I feel like they were the first like boy band, and
Yeah.
they wrote their own songs, so fine.
Yeah.
But my dad said he was talking about his was like Bob Dylan. He didn't. I get him. I think his
Yeah, I
voice
can
is
get
his
it.
voice is terrible, but
Yeah.
like he writes really
music,
meaningful
yeah.
songs, and like Johnny Cash, kind of the same way.
Oh, see, I love Johnny Cash.
But his
I can
voice,
get
you
it.
know, his voice isn't good, right?
Well, yeah,
But his songwriting's great.
Right.
No, I'm with you. I
Yeah.
like him, but like, I think if you can understand, like, okay, I get why people like him at least because he's a great
Yeah.
songwriter. But like, what about like the last like 15, 20 years? Is there any?
Yeah.
Beyonce's like,
Oh no, I get Beyonce.
see, I get Destiny's Child. I think Destiny's Child had some. I listened to Beyonce, like that Lemonade album. Remember how big the other
Yeah.
was? Didn't like any of it. I didn't get it. I didn't think it was good.
There's a lot of girl power in that, like sisterhood.
I mean, there's a lot of girl power in a lot of. But like that doesn't make her songs
The women
like,
in this
catchy.
room are staring
Oh,
at
I
you
know,
like,
but no, I'm
"What's
not.
mine?"
I'm not arguing her message. I just feel like it's not her Destiny Child stuff was at least catchy. Like
She
it
has
was.
a good voice.
She does have a good. Oh no, I
Yeah.
agree. But like
Good
it wasn't.
dancer.
She's a good dancer. If it's just
Yeah.
dancing for sure,
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
have
like
to
Destiny's
disagree
Child.
with you on that one.
So okay, well everyone here disagrees with me, but I'll 25%. I'll take it. That's all we have for this week, and we will be back in next week. Thanks for joining us.